Hi, my name is Matt and today we're going to be taking a look at and discussing the iPhone XS in 2021. The iPhone XS is the successor to the iPhone X and was released in 2018. Ultimately, the iPhone XS is an incremental improvement over the iPhone X, with the biggest differences being in the camera and the processor. They even share the same design and it would be very difficult to tell the two apart if they were next to each other. The iPhone XS can be picked up on eBay for between £290 and £350, which is about £30 more than buying an iPhone X. And this raises the questions, how does the iPhone XS hold up in 2021 and is it worth buying? So in my opinion, I think that the iPhone XS is the best value iPhone that you can buy in 2021, especially if you can buy it for around £300 from a reputable seller who offers warranty. This is because the iPhone XS has an improved camera over the iPhone X, and also the processor is 1 year newer than the iPhone X, meaning that for an extra £30 you're going to be getting a phone that receives at least 1 more year's worth of software updates. So within this video, I'm going to give you all the information about how the iPhone XS holds up in 2021 and enable you to make an informed decision as to whether or not you want to go ahead and buy an iPhone XS in 2021. So starting with the design. The iPhone XS design is near identical to the iPhone X. In fact, I have both iPhones here and I doubt you can even notice the difference between the two phones just by looking at them from a distance. The front of the iPhone XS features a 5.8-inch OLED panel with a 558 pixels per inch screen resolution. This is a major selling point over the iPhone XR, which was released at the same time as the XS. This is because the XS display is a significant improvement over the XR and pretty much all other older iPhones. This panel of course has the notch. Personally, it doesn't bother me, I kind of just forget that it's there and it really isn't an issue for me personally. The iPhone XS has improved Face ID over the iPhone X. This improvement makes it slightly quicker and more accurate, and personally I wasn't expecting to notice the improvement, but I definitely have. I found that the XS works on a little bit more angles and is a lot quicker than my iPhone X at registering my face and unlocking the phone. On the back of the phone there is a slightly larger camera bump than the iPhone X, which homes the slightly improved cameras. This phone also has a glass back which enables Qi wireless charging. This is a universal standard, so almost any wireless charger you can find on the market will work with the iPhone XS. The iPhone XS is IP68 water resistant, which is an improvement over the iPhone X. This means it can be submerged to a depth of 2 meters for 30 minutes. There is no doubt about it, the iPhone XS is a very premium phone to hold, and I can assure you that it feels much better than most phones in the £300 price bracket. So moving on to performance. In 2018, the iPhone XS came with the fastest chip on the market, and therefore in 2021 is still very fast and smooth. The iPhone XS is powered by the A12 chip and 4GB of RAM, ultimately meaning this phone holds up great. This is the same chip and RAM that can be found in the iPhone XR, which you're still able to buy directly new from Apple. Therefore, this is a clear indicator that Apple are confident in the performance of the A12 chip and that it's going to be receiving many more years worth of software support. The A12 is 15% faster than the iPhone X and the iPhone 8 with the A11 chip, which may not be super noticeable today, but I think it's worth buying over the 10 because the added performance will be useful in the future as the phone gets older. An important thing to consider when buying a used iPhone is software support. Ideally, you want to be owning a phone that's receiving the latest iOS updates and security patches, and due to Apple still selling the iPhone XR, I think it's very safe to assume a minimum of 3 years more of software support for the iPhone XS, and I would even go as far to say 4 years is very realistic. This is a very competitive amount of software support in relation to other phones at this price bracket. Sliding through the home screen and menus, this phone is super responsive and fluid as you would expect. App loading time is insanely quick for smaller apps and is still really quick for larger apps such as games. The phone is very fun to play games on, and any game on the App Store will work great. To conclude performance, this phone holds up really well and is an insanely fast phone in 2021. So moving on to battery life. The battery on the iPhone XS isn't amazing, similar to the iPhone X, and this is definitely one of the biggest limitations of the XS. This is worsened by the fact that pretty much all XS's on the market are going to be used and therefore are going to have a degraded battery over time. So I would say that the battery life is comparable to that of driving a car. You're able to get good miles per gallon in a car if you really plan ahead and you're very cautious whilst you're driving, but it isn't as pleasant to use. Similar with this, the battery life, you can get a full day's worth of battery if your usage is very light and if you're being really conscious about preserving battery life. But with a full day of heavy usage and not really worrying about the battery life, you're definitely going to kill it before the day is up. I would personally recommend either just carrying around a power bank, getting the battery replaced, or even buying one of the iPhone charging cases that Apple sells. These can be picked up on eBay for quite a reasonable price nowadays, and I definitely think it is a worthwhile purchase with your iPhone XS, as it will just enhance the battery life of the phone. If battery life is something that's really a concern to you, then I would recommend buying the iPhone XR. This can be picked up even cheaper than the XS, and I will have a full review on it very soon. The XR has a lower resolution screen and a much bigger battery, basically meaning that the battery life is a lot longer than the XS. So moving on to camera, it's really tough to complain about the camera, and I do think it's a significant upgrade over the iPhone X camera. The main cameras are both 12 megapixels. There is a normal camera and then there is a 2x zoom camera. I would much rather an ultra wide over a zoom lens, as an ultra wide is just a little bit more fun, but you know, you just gotta live with a zoom lens. In good lighting conditions, you can take some really nice photos that will be very appropriate for capturing your memories. And low light performance is definitely improved over the iPhone X. Whilst it isn't as good as the latest iPhones with night mode, it's still very capable. I love the way that this iPhone produces colours, and I think that everything comes out looking really great on this iPhone. You're also able to record video at 4K 60, which looks great. I do think you'd be able to make vlogs with an iPhone XS very comfortably, or you'll be able to capture your memories fine. The iPhone XS video camera is just fantastic. It's literally better resolution than the camera I'm using to record this. It also shoots 1080p slow motion at 240 frames per second. This isn't a feature that I often use, and I doubt that you'll often use it, but it's very nice to have. The front camera is less of an upgrade over the iPhone X and is a 7 megapixel shooter, which is fine for selfies, but it's kind of a mediocre camera, I must admit. You can now take portrait selfies, but they don't look very good. I definitely don't think that the front facing camera is anything to sort of scream about. The front facing camera also records 1080p video, which is decent for vlogging and definitely appropriate for FaceTime. Well then, I'm just filming on the front facing camera while starting a little bit of a dog walk. I must say, the camera's not too bad, and also filming these reviews has got me addicted to 8-ball pool. I never used to play it before, and whenever I get a phone to review, first thing I do is I see how well it can run 8-ball pool and how quick it loads and stuff, and it's such a fun game, and yeah, I'm a bit addicted to it now. So to conclude, I really do think that the iPhone XS is just one of the best value iPhones that you can buy in 2021. This was a phone that not long ago was selling for over £1,000 and can now be picked up for £300 from a reputable reseller who will offer you warranty. The performance on this phone is still butter smooth and holds up fantastically, and is probably on par or better than many other phones at the £300 price point. Because it's got the added performance over the iPhone X, I would expect at least another 3 or 4 years more software support for the iPhone XS, which is great and definitely better than, again, most phones that you can be buying for around £300. Unfortunately, battery life is definitely the biggest downside of the iPhone XS. If you're really cautious, you can get through a day, but if you're just sort of using your phone comfortably, it will definitely die before the end of the day. There are definitely steps that you can take to extend the useful battery life of the phone, but it is a pain that this is the biggest letdown of the iPhone XS. Thank you very much for watching. I will have an iPhone XS and iPhone X direct comparison coming up very soon. I'll also have an iPhone XR video coming up soon. Please do subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I uploaded a video a few weeks ago now, basically giving you some tips when buying used iPhones, so if you're interested in that, please do give that a watch. Thank you very much. Please do like and subscribe. Catch you again. Cheers and gone.